You were born in 9th century Norway, during a storm, in blood, with screams in the air. Your mother nearly died bringing you into this world, and the midwife, she bolted the second you cried. Not a soft cry, no, you came out wailing like a war horn, fists clenched, already tasting violence in the air. Something wasn't right. Not about the sky, not about the night, and definitely not about you. Even your mother didn't cradle you. She flinched, because even as an infant, something inside you didn't feel human. Your dad, he was a Viking cliché, sailing off to raid, never coming back, skipping a season of pillaging like skipping leg day, disgraceful. Fast forward, you're 5. While other kids might finger paint or chase chickens, you're chopping firewood beside your mother and headbutting trees for fun. You bite goats, just because. By 8, you finally start asking why nobody ever talks about your father. And then you remember, that year, your mom cried for weeks. Back then, you didn't get it. Now you do. He's dead. Do you cry? No. You're a Viking kid. Crying doesn't make the list of acceptable emotions. You're getting older and angrier. Not tantrum angry, murderous angry. You've torn chickens apart with your teeth. One time you buried an axe in your neighbor's leg because he laughed at your wooden sword. He lived. Others weren't so lucky. Your mom? Her full-time job is now stopping you from becoming a one-kid apocalypse. And you want to stop, you really do. But something in you loves the chaos, the pain, the power. Days are a blur of chores. Nights, they're worse. You don't sleep, you dream. Frankie-level visions of rage and fire and gods whispering in ancient tongues. Best night of sleep you've had? 1 hour, and even that felt like an accident. Eventually, your mom drags you to the shaman. He stares at you, deeply unsettled, says, "Come back when you understand what haunts you." Real helpful, thanks. But one day, you do remember, clear as daylight. You sprint back to the shaman, tell him everything, and that's when he drops the bomb. Odin has chosen you. Yeah. That Odin, the Allfather himself. He doesn't want to chat. He wants to mold you into a berserker, a god-touched rage machine. Blessed, cursed, both. Because with the blessing comes a truth. You'll never be normal, never safe, not even to your own mother. At 12, you're bigger than grown men. Built like a walking battering ram and barely clinging to sanity. The village can't handle you anymore, so they send you to live with the warriors, Viking speak for, "Please someone take this child before he eats another goat." You're dumped into a den of older berserkers, terrifying, silent, soulless men. They train you the old way, axes, fists, bone-breaking sparring. Sometimes you're thrown into fights unarmed, just to see if you survive. Every injury teaches you something. Every scar becomes part of your armor. Then one night, an elder limps over, breath like fungus, and says, "You like war, kid?" You nod. He smirks. "Try war thunder." Wait, what? You keep training, the spiritual side now. You're taught how to trigger the berserker gang, a trance where you feel no pain, no fear, just pure, divine rage. How? Mushrooms. Not the tasty kind, the kind that make you see gods. You hate them. Every time, Odin shows up, rambling, commanding, pushing you deeper into madness. One trip, you black out. Wake up in the forest. You're holding an arm. Human. Not yours. Another Viking had the misfortune of meeting you mid-rage. Years pass. You're sharper, faster, stronger. By 16, you're recruited into the king's guard. And your first international gig? Raiding England. You sail across the ocean, puke your guts out, then land on foreign shores ready to snap necks and steal goats. At first, it's easy. Then your cabins. A real war, real soldiers, real consequences. You charge the front line with your berserker squad, high on chants and shrooms, and everything blurs. You black out again. You wake up in a field of corpses, boys, not warriors, just terrified kids trying to defend their homes. Something twists inside you. Doubt, guilt, maybe even shame. You return home different, still feared, still Odin's monster, but now there's a weight, the kind no blade can cut through. You live in the king's shadow, stoic, silent, dangerous, and still they whisper about you, the York nightmare, the one who doesn't stop. Years roll by. Your body breaks, your beard grays, you limp. You lead raids now, train the next generation of madness. But something is wrong. You can't control the rage anymore. It shows up when it wants, not you. Even berserkers fear you now. The dreams are back, the shadows too. You beg the gods for answers. You get nothing. Eventually, you exile yourself, hide in the forest, not because you're weak, but because you're too strong, too unstable. And every night, the rage replays itself in your mind. Screams, blood, faces you can't remember. You return to town one last time. Look every Viking in the eye and say, "Kill me." No one moves, because they remember York. They remember you. Now you sit alone, staring at the rope. If Odin won't reclaim your soul, maybe it's time you deliver it.